Wolverine and Captain America, two of Marvel's legendary icons. Both have lived through eras that span multiple generations, each with unique stories and abilities that seem to defy time. But here's a question for true Marvel fans. Who's actually older? You might think you know the answer, but these characters have secrets, timelines, and even hidden histories that make this a surprisingly close call. In fact, one of them has a background that could change what you think about the Marvel Universe as a whole. Before we dive into it, drop your best guess in the comments. Are you Team Wolverine or Team Captain America? Let's see who gets it right. Longevity and origins. To figure out who's actually older, we first need to dive into each character's origin story and their unique abilities that make them almost timeless. Wolverine. Let's start with Wolverine, aka Logan. He debuted in the comics in the early 1970s, but his backstory takes us way further back, all the way to the 1800s. Wolverine's healing factor isn't just a way to survive injuries. It dramatically slows down his aging, making him appear practically ageless. He's lived through wars, loss, and countless transformations over more than a century. From the Civil War era to modern-day battles alongside the X-Men, Wolverine's timeline is as epic as his claws. Captain America. Now, Captain America's story begins in a different era. He was created in the 1940s as a symbol of hope during World War II. Injected with the super soldier serum, Steve Rogers became the ultimate warrior, gifted with super strength, endurance, and slowed aging. But there's a twist. He spent decades frozen in ice after a mission, only to be revived in the modern era. So, while Cap might look like he hasn't aged much, he's technically a relic of a bygone era. But here's the real question. Does being frozen in ice truly count as living through time? Or is Wolverine's life experience, earned through years of survival, what makes him older? Stick around as we unravel this mystery. Age comparison. If we're talking strictly about who was born first, Wolverine is the clear winner. Born in the 1800s, he's been around since before most of Marvel's other heroes were even thought of. But when it comes to active years lived, things get a bit more complicated. Wolverine's age. Wolverine has been alive and living since the 19th century, experiencing multiple wars, battles, and endless transformations. His healing factor didn't just keep him in fighting shape, it slowed his aging to a near standstill. He's seen the world change firsthand, from the 1800s to today, making him almost like a living history book. Captain America's age. Captain America, on the other hand, was born decades later in the 1920s and became a hero during World War II. But here's where it gets interesting. After a mission in the 1940s, Cap was frozen in ice for almost 70 years. So, while he's technically close to a century old, most of those years were spent on ice. So what do you think? Should we count those years he spent frozen, or do they really age him? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Philosophy of age and experience. But is age really just a number? When we look at Wolverine and Captain America, we're talking about two heroes who have experienced entire eras, seen wars, loss, triumph, and defeat, just in very different ways. Life experience. Wolverine has the advantage of sheer time. He's lived through multiple centuries, adapting to new cultures, forming countless bonds, and, inevitably, losing people along the way. This life of endless transformation and survival has given him wisdom and scars that few could ever understand. He's been a soldier, a wanderer, and at times, even a reluctant mentor. Captain America, on the other hand, may be younger in terms of years lived, but his experiences are no less profound. His journey is defined by his sense of duty and sacrifice, fighting not just for survival, but for ideals. And despite being frozen in ice for decades, he's had to face a modern world that challenges everything he once knew, making his journey one of adaptation and resilience. So, who do you think has the more interesting stories to tell? The one who's lived through ages, or the one who's a man out of time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Conclusion and summary. So, who is truly the older hero? In terms of birth date, it's Wolverine, who's seen centuries pass. But Captain America, frozen in time, is an eternal symbol, his heroism never aging. Both embody the ideal of what it means to be a hero in their own way, but one is bound by time, while the other transcends it. Do you agree with that assessment? Which of these iconic characters do you prefer, and why? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop your comment below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Marvel Universe, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more nerdy content, and share this with your fellow superhero fans. Wondering about the powers that make Captain America a legendary hero? Check out our video, What Are Captain America's Powers, and learn more about his incredible abilities. Don't forget to comment and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest superhero theories and deep dives. Thanks for watching, and see you in the Nerd Multiverse.